What's up, you guys? It's the one and only Danni Bee, Oklahoma City's own. And I'm here to tell you to make sure you stay tuned in to O-Face Wrestling. Peace.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today on O-Face Wrestling. This is your host JT, and today me and my co-host Jaxie are joined by Danni Bee. So thanks for joining us today, Danni.
Hello, so good to be here.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you. So anyone who's watching this, Danni was on the show back in September, which you said was your first ever podcast. I believe you said.
Yes, it was.
Was it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so we were the first podcast to have you, and
Yes,
ever since then you've just been like all over the place, and it's just like it's crazy. Like you went from like at that time you had like just one official match on the indie scene, and now you're like all over the place, in Texas, Oklahoma, wrestling for Mission Pro Wrestling, which is having some of the biggest names out there. Like you've done a lot. And I know typically, Jaxie, like I'll let you ask the first question, but I feel like this is just the kind of question that you need to start things off with. So I'm going to throw my question out there.
Yes.
So Danni, like I said, you've done so much since the last time, I've had you on the show. And is your career like, did you expect it just to go off the way it did? Or like, how did that go?
Oh my goodness. Well, I had my first match pre-COVID. So after COVID happened, I was like, okay, my wrestling career is over. Nothing is gonna happen. But soon as things started getting better, like all these matches just came out the blue. Like my New Year's resolution was to just do as many matches and wrestle at as many places as I can. Then all of that just started flooding. I was like, oh my goodness, so much is happening. I'm getting so many opportunities and things are just becoming like blessings. And I'm just so excited for everything that is happening to me. So I did not expect none of this to happen at all. I did not expect 2021 to start like this. I'm like, it's already hot. Like, I just can't wait to see where the rest of the year goes.
That's good. It's a complete 180 from the beginning of last year. So
yes, it is. Oh my goodness.
Do you what do you think kind of sparked this? Was there like a specific event that you were at that you feel like really got your name out there? Like where did this everything just start?
Definitely reality of wrestling helped me get the most views because I had my match with Rachel Rose, of course, but I didn't have this Danni Bee character yet. But then I had my match with Roxy, and that's when the OKC thing started coming. So after that match came out, everything changed and I just got all of this attention. So reality of wrestling helped me a lot to get all the coverage. And for me to be here right now, I definitely give all the thanks to reality of wrestling. So they helped me a lot to get all these bookings and all this coverage. So all my love goes to them, definitely.
Yeah, shout out to Booker T for all just the amazing things he's done with that promotion. It's really become a big deal, and it seems like anyone who goes through that school, they end up making a name for themselves. There's so many great wrestlers I've had on the show that have been through that school, and it's nothing but good things over. But yeah, that's the beauty of the wrestling business. All it takes is that one match or that one moment for your name to blow up, and just everyone to want to book you. All these podcasts want you. One little thing, and then boom,
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. Oh my goodness.
I mean, I'm going to kind of jump straight in with my first question because I feel like it's actually stemming from talking about ROW, which is your sort of current matches that you've had had you facing Roxy. Do you see that as a potential feud that is going to continue going on between you guys? Because I mean, I got to admit, the last time I watched your match with her, Promise Braxton got involved and then got you DQ'd. So I just want to know whether or not we are going to continue this feud, because I want to see a little bit of retribution come from you,
Oh, definitely. I do want my revenge on Roxy, so I'm not done with her. But after that match where Promise came in and I got disqualified, we ended up doing a tag match with me and Promise versus Roxy and Jenna. It didn't turn out the way we wanted, but we're still not finished with them yet. So we're definitely coming back for our revenge.
Okay, so we got a lot more to look forward to then.
Yes.
I'll be keeping an eye out for that for sure.
So Jaxie, did you have another question? Or did you want me to go to my next one?
Okay,
it's up to you. I mean, you can go for it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, I'm going to go with a really simple one. And I kind of am making this like sort of my overall main sort of theme of asking when I get to interview wrestlers. But who designs your gear, and, where did the inspiration come from?
My gear lady is named Ryan, and she's based here in Houston. And I know everybody gets like their gear from online and different places, but like I am so like nervous ordering stuff offline because I just want to see it in real life. So I had to find a lady in real life. And where I got like my gear is Oklahoma City Thunder. Their dancers wear something similar to that. And when I was a kid, always going to Thunder games, I would just watch the cheerleaders. I'm like, oh my God, their outfits are so cute. So I was like, you know what? My gear inspiration is going to be based off that.
Oh,
and
cool.
I didn't know if people were going to like it, but I get compliments on my gear every time I'm at a show. So I absolutely love it.
Every match I've been watching of yours, I've been wondering, oh, that gear is really nice. Oh, she stepped it up again and again with the jacket.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, yes. I'm really loving it. That jacket gave you a lot more attitude, and I was loving it.
It did. Yeah. It did. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I really like that pic. Like, I know you noticed I use that for like my promotional stuff for like your episode. Like that you look like really badass, like really like a really like dope heel. Like I really like it a lot.
Yes, I love it.
In your promotion from JT, I was like, "Go on, sis. Okay, we'll see."
Yes, I love it.
And that's funny that you mentioned like it's like dancing gear, because my one friend wrestles down here in Maryland. She ordered her gear on Amazon, but she said it was like dancing gear too. So I never knew that was like you can actually like buy like dancing gear, and it actually like looks like wrestling gear, and it like really works.
Yes, because that's like the best kind of material. So like the stretchy, that's the best kind of material for wrestling. So absolutely.
And I can imagine it would definitely be good for someone who's starting out their career, because I know I have to assume it's cheaper than buying like legit wrestling gear, because I'm sure they charge probably like an arm and a leg for that kind of stuff. So it's a good way if you're like on a budget as well.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. So now for my question. Now I'm really excited about this. Now I asked Amber this question when I did the Q&A with her for the website and all, but I want to get like your perspective and your side on this. So how did Queendom start? Like, how did you all come together, and how do you feel about working with Amber and Promise, especially like Amber, because she's a veteran in the business? So you and Promise are like the rookies. It reminds me kind of like an evolution, like you two are like Randy Orton and Batista, and she's like the veteran, kind of like leading you all. Like, so like, how did this all come together?
I don't know. I know it was a few months back, but I can't point out the month. But it was Amber and a promoter, and they messaged both me and Promise asking if we wanted to do this faction. Me and Promise, we knew of Amber, but we really didn't know her personally. So we were kind of like, we don't know yet. But we ended up just creating a group message and getting to know each other and all of this, and just working with Amber. That was definitely cool, because I love working with new women, especially from different states and area. And working with Promise, oh my goodness, that's like my best friend. So I just love learning from her. Like, she is so just badass in real life and personal. So I learned so much from her. So just being in this faction, just learning from two different worlds, and having women because she's from Pittsburgh. So just having two different women from two different wrestling styles is really dope. And it's really fun being a part of the Queendom. I know we had our first match back in January and people loved it. So I don't know what the future holds for Queendom, but definitely I love being with both of those women for sure.
So when she reached out to you, did they already have the Queendom name, or is that something that you all came up together?
I think Amber already had it. I think she already had an idea, but she just didn't know what girls to choose. So I think she already had the idea going in her head.
Did she ever like explain why she chose you two?
I honestly don't. I don't think I've asked her that. I honestly don't know, but because I'm like, she could have chose from different women,
There's really thousands of women wrestlers to choose from, and she chose you two. Like, that says something.
I don't know. I need to ask her that. It's so funny.
Yeah, I didn't even think to ask her that, because I had no idea I thought you all three like worked an event together, and you just like got along, and just, that's cool how it like happened though. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Amber's awesome. She used to wrestle a lot down here in Maryland before I got into indies wrestling. So I'm kind of like now she's doing like a lot in Texas and stuff like that. So it's like I really want her to come back down here and wrestle. It would be cool if like Queendom came down here. But I want to actually, and I do apologize, Jaxie. I want to ask another question that kind of like relates to the whole Queendom thing.
Yes.
So this is actually kind of like a fun question. So this is a kayfabe. This isn't like a real life betrayal kind of question. So like every faction, it seems like one person eventually turns on the others, like kind of like the Shield when Seth Rollins turned on. So if you all were in a storyline for a promotion and one of y'all had to turn on the other two, who do you think would be most likely to make that heel turn?
Ooh, it's so funny. I would definitely choose Promise because just watching her, she is just such a strong single competitor as well. So I feel like one day she's gonna be like, I don't need y'all no more. So it'll definitely be her.
Okay, yeah.
It'll definitely be her.
I just had to throw that out there because like the whole trio thing reminded me of the Shield. And I'm like, I remember that moment when Seth turned on Roman and Dean. Like,
yep.
I did not expect that. Like, we all knew it was going to happen eventually, but I didn't expect it to happen at the time that it did. And then just like, I was like, I wonder if that's going to ever happen to Queendom.
If it was anyone, it would have been Seth, though. I always felt like it would have been him, just because the way that even come across, like he was always known as the architect, the one that was coming up with the ideas and stuff like that.
Yes,
he's definitely the one that's thinking, yeah, I could do better than you, that type of
right.
I didn't know when it would come, and definitely came as a shock, but still I knew he'd be the one to do it.
And they were like trolling us leading up to that because they were kind of like making it seem like Dean was kind of like frustrated with the group, like as if it was going to be him, and then it ended up being Seth. And they're looking back at it, there was no better choice because Seth was clearly the better heel and just the one who just really stood out the most after they broke up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I want to actually jump into my question because it kind of ties into some of what you were talking about before, Danny. You were talking about yourself and Promise kind of like being like from two different wrestling techniques and stuff. And I can see that you're from watching your matches, you come across as quite a technical wrestler, and that's like really intriguing. I just wondered who trained you, or if you're training with someone technical wise.
Ooh, definitely that was when I first got into wrestling, like the wrestling style, like the technical stuff, like Daniel Bryan. Like I've been so interested in that, and I just try and study and watch as many people as possible. But definitely my trainers back home, their name is Erica Torres and Double D, and they've been wrestling for years now, and they know so much. And I love learning as much as I can. And like every time I train with them, I learn something new. And I'm like, oh my goodness, you guys just know so much. So I just cannot wait to get where I want to be with my wrestling skill wise. I know it's going to be lit. I just can't wait.
I can say that we're all looking forward to your progress, really. I mean, we've been following you, and it's been great so far. As JT said, you started on this journey, especially with O-Face, and you were just kind of only just starting, and now you're getting into these real technical matches. It's just great to see your progress, where you started, where you're going to end up. I'm excited to see that.
Thank you.
I'm going to kind of jump in with my other question, because that kind of what I just said ties into this. But have you thought about like a promotion that would be your dream promotion you'd love to work at?
Oh my goodness. I pretty much, honestly, on my bucket list of places I've wanted to work in Texas, I've pretty much done all of those. So now I'm looking out of state. And definitely the promotions like Shine and Shimmer, like those are on my bucket list. I would love to work at those kind of promotions. I've been wanting to work like up north and on the East Coast more anyway. So anything up there, that'd be amazing. Absolutely.
Oh, great.
I know, Jaxie, you're probably waiting for her to say AEW. I know you're like one of the biggest.
Genuinely, AEW. I know I'm wearing an AEW t-shirt, but I am a fan of all promotions, so I don't want you thinking that he just seems to think that AEW is my favorite. I just say that I'm neutral, but I'm very picky and I'm judgmental when it comes to WWE's creative lately. That's not saying anything bad about them though, because there are wrestlers that I absolutely love and adore in WWE, and then other brands such as Impact, New Japan. But yes, I do. I have followed AEW from the very beginning, and I do love the promotion. It's good.
Yeah, I just had to put it out there. I know you love your AEW. I mean, you love everything just like me. I love it all. I don't like to do the whole like competition. How dare you watch this?
I'm not gonna lie though. I totally fangirled when Cody Rhodes liked my tweet the other day. That just made my day. It was amazing. I was like, he knows my name.
Like, he knows I exist. Yes, girl, yes.
But yeah, so one thing I wanted to add to when Jaxie was just talking about like how you progressed and stuff like that. The one thing I really wanted to mention too is like I've noticed like when you do your entrances and like just like you have that one thing that like you really can't teach, and you come out like very confident. Like that's the one thing I noticed about Bianca Belair back like when she was like doing the dark matches for the takeovers. Like she came out, she just looked like a star. Like you remind me of that. Like when you come out, you look like a star, and that's something like you can't teach, because you can't teach confidence. You can build it a little bit, but I've always been told like stuff like that is like you either have it or you don't, and you clearly have it. Like, so I just want to throw that out there and just say like you are doing great. I don't know if anyone's mentioned that to you, but like you come out looking like a star. You're welcome.
Yeah, that was one of the hardest things for me, because you can teach anybody to wrestle if we're being honest, but like the confidence in working a crowd and stuff like that has to come from within,
Yeah.
So definitely the confidence.
You feel uncomfortable kind of like during your entrance, we feel that uncomfortableness come out, so it's great to see like, it feels like we've got confidence in you whenever you're coming out because of the way you come out. Great.
Awesome. Yes, I love it. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. So now for my next question, so I know, was it like a month ago, I believe you became the All-Star Pro Women's Champion, and that was your first title. So how did it feel winning your first ever championship?
I didn't know until like the last second. And I'm just like, are y'all serious right now? You're going to give it to me? And I like when the count came 1, 2, 3 and the bell rung, it was just like, I feel like the earth just froze. I was like, am I really holding this belt right now? Like, what? And to just be the first African woman like champion in Oklahoma just means the world to me. Like I did my research and I'm like, has there been any Black female wrestlers born from Oklahoma to win this belt? And I'm the first one. So that means the absolute world to me. Thank you.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So I have to ask, I know like every promotion is different. Did they let you take the title home?
Yes, they did. I made sure they did. I'm like, no, I'm taking this with me. This is mine.
I would probably be exactly the same if I were you. I'd be like wanting to walk around my house with it,
Exactly.
My mom was
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd be walking to like the kitchen with it.
Yes.
So like I've always wanted to know, because I asked my one friend this, do they make you like sign anything? Like, because what if you just decided never to return to the promotion and never get back the title? Like, is there like some kind of like you have to give this back if or whatever?
I've never seen or like been in that situation. That's something I would want to know too, because it's like if I was
what happens if you use it or get it stolen like Chris Jericho?
That too. I mean, like the most I could do is say like sorry. Like I wouldn't know what else to do if it got stolen. Like I'm so sorry. But I know some promotions, that's the reason. Yes, I know some promotions, that's the reason they don't let people take belts with them, because people do end up losing stuff. So I understand why.
They're still looking at you, Chris Jericho.
And I know, like, back in the 90s when Alundra Blaze left WWE to go to WCW, she took the title back and didn't give it back and dumped it in the trash can. Something like that. Like, what's stopping people from doing that?
She burned it, didn't she?
Did she burn it? I just know she threw it in the trash can.
I remember she threw it in the trash can. I can't remember whether or not she like just talked about burning it or whether or not I actually.
I wouldn't have burned it. I would have kept that. Like, I don't care how you feel about the company.
Or I would have sold it for some money.
Or sold it, exactly.
Yeah, right. Get some money out of it.
Well, I actually have another one as well. Though another question, like, do you have a name for your finishing move?
Yes, it is called the Thunderstruck.
The thunderstruck.
And it's basically, yes, and it's just a variation of the Mickey DDT where they lift you up and spin. Yeah. So like that's perfect.
Yeah, I like it. Did you come up with the name?
I did. I was like, I need a fancy name for this.
Yeah.
So I want to ask this is like a new kind of Jaxie talked about, like her theme of like ask questions is about like the ring gear and all. So this is kind of my theme. So is there like a specific, like more so like a hardcore kind of like match stipulation that you're really eager to do, like thumbtacks or something like crazy?
Oh my God. I do want to have a tables match one day. I would love to get put through a table, and I would love to put somebody through a table as well. So I'm definitely there for the hardcore matches. Probably not right now, but definitely in the future. I would love to do one of those. Especially watching Thunder Rosa and Britt. I was like, oh that looks so badass. I would love to do that.
That match is going down in history. That is one of the
absolutely
two of the most talented women that I've seen in a new promotion so far. But both of them just absolutely killed it in that match. It's great.
I'm like, y'all make this look fun. Like, what the heck?
I was just amazed at the fact that they
just be partly involved, not fully involved.
Yes.
I was just like amazed at the fact that after Britt Baker went through the thumbtacks, they still kept wrestling. Like usually in those types of matches, that's like the end of the match. Like
Britt got a lot of them in her.
That was a lot.
He had a lot. I was so worried for her.
But I've been like, I've been preaching for those, like that type of match to be on television for a while. Cause I'm sure like women have had those types of matches on the indies, but never like on like, we never seen anything like that on WWE or anything like that. Like I've been wanting to see a hardcore women's match televised, and I
want to see some blood. Yes.
Yeah, I love blood.
I want to see blood.
Just so that we can actually prove that women can go just as hard as men, and those just proved it, straight away. So yeah,
absolutely,
they did all women proud, to be honest, that night.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just mad I didn't get to watch it live, but that's how I typically watch AEW on demand. But it was.
Imagine what it's like for me. All of your shows start when it's like 1 or 2 a.m. So
I don't know how you do it, honestly. Like,
man,
I mean, Wednesdays are the ones that I'm usually dedicated to kind of staying up at least for an hour, possibly an hour and a half. But yeah, or Friday nights, obviously that's easier to be able to stay up on because I do watch SmackDown as well. But yeah, Tuesdays and Mondays and Tuesdays, so difficult. No way.
And now that NXT is switching to Tuesday, and I know Impact's going to be Thursday, there's literally going to be wrestling every day, Monday through Friday now.
Wow.
And it's getting even more harder to choose because I've really been enjoying AEW's YouTube channel Dark, and so that is going to be the same sort of time as NXT now, and I'm always like, oh gosh, which one to watch, because NXT is so goddamn good. So it's gonna be difficult.
Man, oh my
watch it all on demand. That's what I do.
I complain about it because I just thoroughly enjoy it. So
yeah, it's a good time to be a wrestling fan. I don't care what some people complain about, like, oh, WWE or this or that. Like, there's wrestling. There's something for everyone out there now.
Absolutely.
And even like the indies, like we're seeing a lot of promotions streaming now. So and there's like a title match network and stuff like that. So there's no shortage of wrestling
at all.
Kind of works in everyone's favor from like kind of around the world as well, because now that they're streaming a lot more, it means that a lot more people can watch those sort of shows that possibly weren't always aired. So it's great for them to be able to actually feel more inclusive as well.
Absolutely. That's so good.
Exactly. So Jaxie, was it your turn or my turn? I got lost in that.
I don't know. I can go if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so like this is, at any time you can think about any person in the world, but if you had to choose one person to sort of challenge, who would that person be?
Definitely Mickie James. He is my favorite wrestler in the whole wide world, and if I ever get the chance to just step in the ring with her, I would probably just cry the whole time.
I think that's how I feel about Lita. She was really the one that kind of drew me into wrestling, because she was sort of a tomboy, just hung out with the boys, that sort of attitude. So if I ever met her, I think I'd probably just break down in tears, because I wouldn't I wouldn't know how to process my joy at just being able to you should have seen my face, my reaction during the first ever female Royal Rumble and Lita's music played. I just started bawling straight away. I was crying my eyes out.
Man, that's so crazy. That's so crazy.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good though.
I don't know if I ever told you, Jaxie, but I met Lita back in 2018.
Did you?
Yeah, she was at a horror convention, like Monster Mania, which was really random. And
she's into that sort of stuff, and I like that. She's such a horror fan.
She was super nice though. My wife and I were first in line, and she was actually like 30 minutes late to the signing, so she was like very like nice to like everyone, and just had a nice conversation. She actually told me that originally for the first ever that Evolution pay-per-view, the first ever all women's, she was supposed to fight Becky Lynch one-on-one, but then WWE decided to put Becky in the title picture, which is why we ended up getting that tag match instead. But now I'm hopefully like that's probably like the number one match for Becky that I want to see is with Lita. Hopefully,
yeah, that would be quite a great match to see.
Yeah, I love the old school and new school. I love those. I love those.
I mean, I've really got to admit, when it was Trish versus Charlotte Flair, that was such an.
I don't think I can handle that.
That was such an incredible match. Watching Trish, like she hadn't left the ring and just got straight back into it with the likes of someone like Charlotte Flair, who she's very iconic and she's a very good wrestler. And Trish, that was one of my favorite matches, I think, as well.
They keep teasing Trish and Sasha. That's the one I really want the most. That's the star
brings
power.
Out the best. Yes, she brings out the best in anybody, so I know that'll be so amazing.
Exactly. My friend Stephanie says it all the time. Like, Sasha can go and have a match with a mop, and it will be a 5-star match. Like, that's just how good she is.
Absolutely,
like the equivalent of Kenny Omega. You know, when Kenny Omega fought that doll in the ring, like Sasha could do exactly the same.
Absolutely,
everyone would love it. So, I mean, to be honest, I know she's kind of in a phase where she's now gone heel, but she's kind of like Io Shirai in terms of you could turn her heel, but everyone's still going to love her.
Absolutely.
I'm confused. Is she like a heel now or what?
Well, I think they're like really trying to tease that.
She's like a tweener, I feel like.
Too much into it.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
Kind of, she's got more of an aggressive attitude towards Bianca Belair, whereas before it was like, yeah, let's team together. And then after that, she was like, girl, I'm going to smack your eyelashes off. You know?
And she has that really obnoxious laugh that she does too, which is very heelish, but I love it.
And that's like, I feel like that's her heel laugh, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like, we're going to get more her maybe doing some dirty tactics at WrestleMania. But I think regardless, the match between both women is just going to be incredible.
Oh,
I'm kind of hoping we get something similar to when like AJ Styles fought Shinsuke at WrestleMania. After the match, Shinsuke turned heel on AJ. So I'm wondering if we'll get something like that where maybe either Sasha turns heel or Bianca turns heel.
If we do that, please MVP recruit Bianca Belair and bring a woman to the Hurt Business. Just bring it.
I want them to bring Naomi.
I was trying to decide off of Naomi or Bianca. Bianca just has that attitude. Like, if she's heel, Bianca could be such a good heel. Like, oh my goodness.
I think she would be really good on Raw. And I feel like Naomi would actually even benefit from being a heel, but staying on SmackDown and maybe joining into this Roman faction herself, you know, especially when I'm really hoping, this is just me guessing, but I'm really hoping that we are going to get Jimmy back in action come WrestleMania time. So how cool would it be
God, I would love
we're keeping like sort of Roman strong with the title, get the Usos back with the tag team titles, then get heel Naomi to come, take her title back, and then you just got like the tribal lot. That'd be amazing as well, you know. So
you should be a writer for WWE.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I've said this a couple of times though, but like it would bring for more interesting TV to have Bianca on Raw and actually have, you know, I really want Bianca versus Asuka. I really do. So like take her to Raw, please, because that would be two of my favorite women, and Asuka is my number one wrestler. I love her. So please just give that match at some point. Bianca versus Asuka would be great.
That would be really good. I think that the whole like power and strength versus like the athleticism and striking with Asuka, I think that would be really fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kind of like I guess a similar kind of thing was like when Shayna fought Ember. You know, you had the powerhouse and you had the athleticism. That was a really fun feud that they had back in.
And just let's not bring Shayna up because I absolutely love Shayna and I absolutely hate the way that WWE have been booking her for the whole year.
Me too. Oh my goodness, I love Shayna.
You let her lose that Elimination Chamber last year to then consistently just get her being roll-up pinned. I can't take it. You are ruining a brilliant, talented wrestler. I just can't.
Very much.
I feel for her because if I know how badass she is and how much they're keeping her on the reins, just let her loose, please. Again,
please. Oh my god, I loved her NXT run. People hated it, but I loved it so much.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I think that she brought like a certain sort of aggressiveness to the locker room that I wouldn't say was lacking, but I think she turned it up and made more hungrier. Like there was so many women she was just constantly defeating, and they were constantly wanting to come back and prove themselves even more against her. You know, you need to have someone like that.
Absolutely.
You know, so WWE, if you want to hire me, I'm available anytime.
Had a discount price. Just kidding.
Speaking of, actually, one of the things that I do ask you, Danny, is entrance music. It's got that real attitude and that in essence is Shayna. You know, it really works well. So when it comes to your entrance music, did you have a say in it? Did you have a choice in it? And
it was actually a DJ from Oklahoma who created the beat. I knew I wanted something that stood out. So I was like, what is like the Oklahoma national theme song? A song that everybody knows in Oklahoma. So I just love it, seeing the crowd reaction, like when it starts, because everybody knows the song. And so I just have like a little entrance, then like it just goes into a hip hop current beat, you know? So I wanted something from me, but then again, I wanted something mixed with Oklahoma as well. Definitely. So I definitely wanted something that stood out.
I find myself bopping along to it when you're coming out. Like, yeah, okay, I like this beat.
Absolutely. I think entrances are just so, people don't understand, like that's so important in wrestling, like the entrance and coming out. Like I feel like because that's the first time somebody's gonna see you, so you need to make that as big as possible. So
exactly, like I mean, I've got to admit, I've got to name drop Rhea Ripley for that type of thing, because of the way that it comes out. It is very much like in your face, you know, this is and it envisions her so well, especially when she then comes out and does her stomp. Like you literally, especially if like, you know, she's either a heel or, you know, she's coming for you and you're in that ring, like, like the pins just dropping, you're like, oh shit.
Right. Oh my man.
Yeah, I definitely can say Rhea Ripley's got that type of entrance too. It's really out there and I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, entrance is like extremely important because it's what like gets the fans like hyped up for the match. Like you tell me, like when you hear The Rock, if you smell, like you know how everyone just gets like all pumped up and like
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
it really just like hypes you up. Like John Moxley as well. Like his music it sounds like a motorbike right at the very beginning, sort of like revving to take off, but everyone just goes lit from it. Even me from home starts getting into it, you know?
I love it like when it blends with the character. Like I remember how excited I would get like seeing like Bobby Roode come out with the glorious theme. Like I would get so into that entrance because it fit his arrogance so well, and it's just, like I would laugh, but like not in a like I think it's silly, but it just meshed so well. Just how cocky he was, I thought it was so funny. Like it was amazing.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna jump to my last question that I have for you, Danny. So you've gotten to wrestle with Mission Pro Wrestling, I think twice now. Is that correct?
Yes, I did twice.
Twice. And obviously, like I mentioned, they are becoming a really big deal. You know, they turned into an all women's promotion back in like August, September, somewhere around there, and they've been doing a lot of big things. And I remember like I think I tagged you in something with, you know, telling them, you know, I really want to see you on their program and stuff like that. Like, so tell me, because I do know that Mission isn't just one of those indie events where you just come and do your thing. Like it's kind of like a build to the event. Like if they're big on promoting, you know, they do the custom matches and all this stuff. And I know they usually have like the talent do a lot of interviews on podcasts and stuff also leading up to it. So tell me about like your experience working with them.
Oh my goodness, Mission Pro, just being in a locker room with so many talented women. Like sometimes I just sit and I'm like, wow, I'm just looking so many just in there. Everybody's just so nice. Like every time I'm in the locker room, everybody says hi. Like I have not ran into any problems at Mission Pro. Like everybody got has good vibes and just the energy there is just so amazing and just the crowd. Everybody's just supporting women and I just love how they just promote it and I love everything about it. So Mission Pro is definitely, and it's so big and I just can't wait to see, because I know it's going to get bigger. I know it is. So Mission Pro is definitely the place to be for sure.
Ones to watch. Note that self.
Yeah, definitely watch Mission Pro. Like it's great. They have like a lot of the biggest names of the indies there.
Yes. Yes.
And just like my experience as a sponsor, like they usually like put you to work too. Like it feels like a big deal, like sponsoring them, like, and they really put a lot of time and effort in like the promoting everything, their sponsors, their wrestlers, their events. Like they treat it like it's like the big league, which is great. And I think, and I've heard like people say like it's kind of like getting you prepared for, you know, like televised stuff, you know, AEW, WWE, all that kind of stuff.
Definitely. Rosa is definitely, she's on everybody's butt about being there early, not arriving late, you know, saying hi and being respectful. So she's definitely a big locker room leader for sure. Definitely.
That's good. It's always good to have like a locker room leader who cares, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, she does. When I had her on the show back in October, she was like talking really high about like women's wrestling in general. Like she wants, it's not just about her; it's about women's wrestling as a whole. Like she wants the whole, you know, women's wrestling to really flourish and everyone to be evaluated and just, you know, it's all about the business versus, you know, herself. Like, and she really cares about everyone that she steps in the ring with. So she's a great person and she deserves everything at the end of the day.
Yes, definitely. Great woman. Great one.
So, Jaxie, did you have any more questions?
I not in terms of wrestling questions, but I just an overall Danni Bee question, which is what when you're not wrestling or it's not all about wrestling, what do you enjoy doing with your time outside of it?
It's so funny. I'm really a big introvert. So I like staying alone, being in my room, just reading and just enjoying life. I love going for walks. Wrestling is just such this big world where you're around all these people. So when I have my alone time, I stay alone. For sure. For sure.
That reminds me of me because like I'm typically busy doing stuff, but when I actually get that free time, I'm out on the couch in the living room watching TV just on my phone. Like I just want my own space. Like that's, you know, because I grew up like that. I don't know about you, but like my parents divorced when I was younger and I lived with my dad. He was like one of those overtime junkies. So I was always by myself. So it just became like natural to be alone and it's comfortable. You know, it's quiet. I love the quiet. Like, I can't stand noise and stuff like that. So
the opposite.
I mean, that's just me.
It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard to feel like that for me because I was blessed with 3 sisters, one of them being a twin. So I'm never alone. That sort of thing. But I do like my space. But then when I say that, I'm more mean like I like my space so I can be a gamer. So I'm still social because I'll game online. But, you know, as of late, for sure, I definitely kind of would prefer sitting in and just gaming really and kind of visualizing that way. Like I like being on Twitch and talking with people on there. Like JT is a huge fan of mine. Comes in and says hi all the time, which is great. But it just makes me feel like I'm a bit more inclusive, especially when we're not actually able to go out anywhere as of late.
Exactly. And video games is like always that really fun thing to do alone and stuff like that. And I know Resident Evil Village comes out next month. I know you're excited about that. So am I. Yay.
So excited. I'm actually playing 7 at the moment. So just getting myself all prepared for Village. So
but yeah, Danni, that's all the questions I had for you. So I'm assuming that was your last one for her.
it was,
Okay, cool. But yeah, thank you so much, Danni, for coming back on the show. Especially, I know you've gotten really popular since the last time, so I'm glad that you were able to make the time. Because I'm sure a lot of podcasts probably reach out to you now. So, like,
yes,
I hope so. I hope so.
Exactly. I hope so. But
yeah, and if anyone who hasn't actually watched any of your matches yet are watching this, make sure that you actually go to YouTube and check out some of Danni's matches, because you're missing out. You really are.
Yes.
Thank you.
You all need to check that out, definitely. And Danni, did you want to share all of your social media so all the listeners know where to find you?
Yes. So my Twitter and Instagram, you can find me at Danni Bee OKC, and Facebook and YouTube, you can find me at Danni Bee.
All right, so make sure you all follow Danni Bee on all those platforms. I'll put all the links below, and I will also put your link to your, is it Pro Wrestling Tees is where your shirt's at, right?
Yes, that's who get my shirts. You see he's wearing one. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, they are on there still. So go get you a t-shirt.
And I wanted to bring this up too, because I know you have 8x10s. Is that like an in-person only kind of thing at events, or do you have?
I'm trying to get them online because people have been asking me, and I would love to just give those out. So I'm trying to get something going with the website. So maybe that's coming soon. So let's pray.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
It's updated so that we can actually look to get on there ourselves.
The one website that I know that does that is like Big Cartel or something like that. I think that's what they're called. You could sell like 8x10s. Because I know in Pro Wrestling Tees is strictly like shirts and like hoodies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so make sure that you check out Pro Wrestling Tees and get a Danni Bee shirt. Also make sure that you follow us on all the social media platforms. Sub us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We are on that. We've been on that for like a month now. And yeah, so give us a follow on all those as well. Those links will be below as well. So thank you so much, Jaxie, and thank you so much, Danni, for joining us today on O-Face Wrestling.
Thank you. So nice to meet you as well.
And you. Thank you for having me on the show. It's been great.
And thank you all for tuning in to O-Face Wrestling.
Check us out.